Hello, everybody. I know I'm hungry, you are hungry, so I will, but I also am aware something that the acoustics here is not so good. So I think it's quite sunful for you all to listen to this, but I will try to speak slowly and make my words sound clearly, okay? So my talk will be something different, not so serious, hopefully, okay? But please allow me, the audience here, to just go over that side. I want to say hi to the many people on the side there. They are, hello guys, okay. I'm so conscious that most of my audience is actually here. Okay, so anyway, thank you for listening, and I hope I won't be coming over all the time, but I'll have to stay put here, okay? Okay, my topic is fostering an AI-ready culture, the role of technologists. So my assumption is that most of you here are all technologists, okay? My pitch to you is that you, in the age of AI, you have a huge role to play in contributing to your organization. And I'm just giving you a small idea of one of the ways, other than the direct work that you're doing as technologists, is ancillary work. It is maybe charity work or moral work, okay? So that's my topic. How technologists, all of you, can help the organization transform better in the age of AI. Now, first thing is that I want to let you know that actually I did use GPT-4 to help me make this presentation. So whenever we use LLMs, chat-based LLMs like GPT-4 or Claude or whatever it is, you always have to apply critical thinking to the output that you get. So I want you to also, please be careful, please apply critical thinking at all times to what I'm going to tell you. But I did do my part. Before I put any of this stuff on the slides, I thought about it very carefully. So this one I don't want to preach, but obviously you've heard throughout today, AI is not going away. But I personally, as a business person, I'm a marketing person by training. I work mostly in the media business, but I truly believe that an AI-ready organization is a key means of organizational wealth creation, value creation, competitiveness, and success. So that's why it's so important for the whole organization to be AI-ready or culturally AI-friendly, if you will. So I believe also that in the age of AI, actually I think that technologists can actually become more respected, more accepted, more liked. They can become a force for good. And ultimately, the more talented ones will become CEOs. They will lead the organization. Such is the power of AI. But this power, remember, for you to be a leader, you must exercise power with balance and respect. Don't just have power. In some ecosystems, you can just use power to trample over everybody. But that's not the model, I think, that has proven to be successful over time. So it's power with balance and respect. But how do you get that power? Well, you enhance your own abilities. You enhance the organization's abilities. That gives you power. And how do you get balance? Well, you get balance by being holistic about the whole subject of AI. So be as holistic as possible. And then finally, how do you show respect? Well, you show respect by looking carefully at risks, at the ethics of AI, and the politics of using AI, whether in your organization, in your industry, or in society as a whole. So if you are able to be wary of all these points, I truly believe that in another few more years, more and more leaders of organizations will be actually technologists. So what is the force for good? Well, this is only one aspect of how you can be a force for good in the age of AI in your organization. And that is to foster this AI-ready culture. And how you do that is through an idea that I just want to, for ease of understanding, I want to call the LLM quotient. Actually, it's not a very accurate term. LLM obviously means large language model, the most popular form of AI that's being used in many businesses that people are familiar with. Quotient meaning like IQ, intelligence quotient, EQ, emotional, like people tell you that, oh, to be successful in some jobs, you have to have very high IQ, or to be successful in life generally, you have to have very good EQ. So likewise, I think the organization, the organization, your boss, all levels of the organization has to have a very high LLMQ, okay? That's my idea that I'm trying to sell to you. And then what I'm going to tell you is how you can contribute to increasing the LLMQ of your organization. That's the whole crux of my presentation. But first of all, I must clarify, I'm aware that LLM is only one part of the whole AI spectrum, right? It has to do with the use of AI using natural language processing to apply to text and other forms of data like that. But there are many other forms of AI, okay? Some are generative, some are not generative, some are narrowly focused, some are just machine learning on specific processes. My concept applies to most of these, but I'm more familiar with LLM, so I choose to just talk about LLM. So that's my clarification. Okay, so I mentioned EQ. Everybody knows EQ. Well, it's defined as the ability to identify, to use, comprehend, and manage emotions, okay? That's what EQ is. Well, it consists of, this is just one of many models. It consists of 5 things in one of the models. One is self-awareness, know yourself, then you have good EQ. Then number 3 is, number 2 is empathy. Empathy means know others. So not just know yourself, know other people, the one you're talking to. Number 3 is control yourself, okay? Number 4 is motivation, have the energy, the emotional energy to do things, to make things better. And 5 is know how to relate to other people, social skills. So 5 things. So whenever I do these presentations, I like to summarize the points into 5. Why? Because, give me 5, right? 5 is a very natural number in human life. There are 5 fingers, there are 5 senses, okay? And it seems like a very natural thing, so my list of 5. So likewise, my LLM quotient here, okay? So my 5 is partly developed through GPT and partly through my own interpretation. So the first element of LLM quotient is understand the technology. The second, the previous speaker talked about importance of data literacy, but I want to interpret that in 2 levels. One is the organization, and the other is the IT department, okay? And then how to apply the LLM, how to use it, how to formulate your organization's strategy with respect to either some form of AI or LLMs in particular. And then 4 is how to balance risk, ethics, politics, all these issues of risk, the ethics of it, and the politics of it. And finally, because this subject is moving at the rate of nanoseconds, like every nanosecond, some new technology is being developed, you have to stay abreast. You have to continuously improve. Your LLM quotient cannot be high if you are not up to date. That's my point, okay? So those are the 5 elements. And then remember, you can think of this at all levels, from the CEO down to the middle management, maybe not so much the operator, okay? But depending on your position in the technology role in the company, you could be the guy talking to the CEO every day. So your job is to contribute to his LLM quotient. If you are talking to department heads every day, then your job is to talk to the 3rd level, the key functional head and their quotients. So think of that role as being divided into different levels in the organization. So, 2 sets of slides. One is to talk about how you can contribute by charity beginning at home. So within the IT department, within the technical department or the technology department, you got to take the lead. If the whole organization has to have a high LLM quotient, you guys have to have the highest, right? You can't lead without being good at the thing. So I want to talk about, I'm not a technologist at heart, but I want to talk from more of a CXO, CEO perspective, what I expect the technology department's LLM quotient to be? Okay, so this is addressed to the CTO, the CIO, and everyone in the technology department. So first, in terms of understanding and mastering the technology, I won't go into details, but I do have a very important ask, and that is one of the problems in communicating about AI and technology is that the terminology is fuzzy. When I say LLM and you say LLM and you say LLM, you're all referring to different things. So please, within your department, can you have more discipline? Can you have more discipline whenever you are using any AI-related word? Please, the head of technology, make it very clear what you mean by that in your department. You can have your own definition because the standard definitions are changing all the time in the industry, okay? But without good terminology, if we don't mean the same thing by the same word, we can't communicate properly. So that's number one. Do that effort. Clarify what is meant by that, okay? What is an LLM? What is a transformer model, okay? What is a token? What is a vector? Down to that level, okay? All right, that's one. And then I would also ask, this is only a partial list, I'm so conscious that LLMs are only one type of AI. Please, the technology department has to be more aware. The whole organization may not need to be. You need to be aware of more aspects of AI, not just large language models. So I would expect these two mastery from the technology to improve the LLM quotient of the IT department. Second is data literacy. What I mean by that is just one thing. There's a lot of words here, but I kind of feel that some people, when some IT departments, when they code, when they prepare software and software for the organization, the programmers and the coders, they have almost a sixth sense, and they would automatically capture a lot of data in the process. And some are lazy, they don't. A balance needs to be struck, but a highly LLM, high quotient, LLM quotient organization or IT department needs to strike a high level of data awareness, data collection, data sensitivity, whilst balancing the cost. Of course, the more data you store, the more expensive it's going to be. But you know, it's almost like if I was the CIO or the CTO, other than auditing the final development, the final code for functionality, whether it meets the specs, I would do a data audit as well. I say, okay, what data are you capturing with this? And then I will look at the data and say, is this going to be useful to the organization future down the line? You never know, okay? So like one small, very small example, personal loan company in Hong Kong told me that they found use to analyze the time that the people who were taking out personal loans, the time of the day that they were applying for the loan, that correlated with the types of risk and the segment of who the borrower was in terms of capability to repay. So the guy who wrote the program, the application process program, took the trouble to record not just time of day, day of week, and maybe a few other factors in the database. Okay, it's just a small number. It's not going to take up a lot of storage. So data literacy for an IT department is just, it's a bit like security literacy. I have two criticisms. Because there's a lot of work to do, coders just want to get the job done. They just want the requirement fulfilled, tick, 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 all the functionality done. And then they forget about the security, and then they forget about the data. So that's my idea, okay? Now, in terms of applying, again, this is a partial list. I have two asks of my IT department. One is, you know, when you want to apply, you must be able to deploy quickly, deploy cost effectively. So please be so up to date on what the major cloud providers are giving you. Some of it is too expensive, some of it is maybe negotiable, some of it is more affordable, but you cannot afford not to be so aware of all, whether it's Vertex or whatever it is that Google or some other, the three major clouds, you know who I'm referring to, and also Tencent, Alibaba, and also, if your team is familiar working with open source, to be very familiar with what's happening in open source, because it's very cost effective. I know some people who don't want to pay money to the cloud providers. They do pay for the basic computation, but they like to use open source for the software. So You must be highly aware of this. And the second thing is that the IT department, now this is very strange for the IT department because I come from a media background, a marketing and sales background. We have a culture in the media business, okay? It's a culture like this. All my salespeople, for example, they keep our secrets inside, but they also are, in Chinese, 2-5 san, yi zai. They will go and have lunch and tea with their competitor salesmen, but there's a very delicate balance. So actually, I can ask all my salespeople, hey, let's say I'm ViuTV, what did TVB do yesterday in the presentation? How did the clients receive it? They already can tell me right away, okay? This is the informal intelligence because this field is moving so fast. By the time you wait for South China Morning Post or some IT publication to report the case, it's too late already. So you as the CTO or CIO need to strike a balance. You've got to foster a culture of 5 minutes remaining, my God. A culture of your staff being able to become yin zai, to learn what others are doing, but at the same time preserving the key secrets. It's an art, it's not a science. We do it in the media field, okay? I can tell you we do it. Okay, balancing risk, this is a very long topic, so I just want to emphasize one point. In the IT department, I think it's a very hard job, very hard job. You have to try and sense the risk aptitude or the risk tolerance of your top management. And also more important is the emotional attitude. Because before you can start talking rational with anybody, the first step is, what is his attitude? What is his emotion like? He already formed an emotion that IT is evil. Or the other way, he formed the emotion that IT is the future of the world because he listened to Elon Musk saying to Rishi Sunak that IT will replace all jobs, right? Then he has a different emotional context coming to you. You've got to understand that because no matter what you do, you are not the final decision maker. So you have to work within that organization, within the top management. So the biggest role in terms of helping the organization to balance the risks, the ethics, and the politics is to understand their emotional attitude and also understand their risk tolerance, because there's always risk. Continuous improvement, I won't say too much. Just please be aware you'll be outdated every day, so you got to just find your way, okay? But how to do? Okay, how to do is this. I would like to propose that 3 minutes remaining. I can just finish here, actually. I'll just talk about this. I think you get the idea already. But I think the IT departments really have to drum up the importance of knowing AI in the whole team, not just the guys who are doing coding, everyone, people in DevOps, people in maintenance, whatever it is, they all got to know. So you got to design a whole curriculum of foundation and expert courses, a curriculum of certification requirements, and then not only that, I think if I was in the IT department, even low down, I would be quite excited if I was given a tiny role. A very tiny role, like just look at this open source platform and tell me what's the new things coming up in this open source platform, and then report at the IT department meeting, you know? Give everybody a role, assign tasks and responsibilities. That's how you get this atmosphere going, you know? So, okay, those charts have white background, this is blue, I'll run through them. This one is your role, not in your own department, but outside, in the whole organization. So I would just emphasize one thing. Please help with the technology, okay? The other thing that I would emphasize, try to get people to use the technology, the terminology clearly. The other thing that's quite useful is assist senior executives and even the CEO to start using chat-based large language models in their personal duties. You'll be amazed at how much they understand AI more when they themselves are using it. I'm using it every day in my work. The day doesn't go by that I don't turn on my GPT-4 to help me think through some things and to find information. And then you got to assist the HR department, all right? And but also, I think that you have to have patience and persistence because this is a complex subject, a fluid subject, is changing. So if you yourself are not a patient and persistent communicator, you cannot properly exercise your role to influence the whole organization. And remember that emotion comes first before rational, okay? I think I only have 1 more minute, but I won't talk about data literacy. Application skill, this is a bigger subject. I don't think I have enough time to talk, but please focus. If you want to figure out how AI can really help the business, please focus on the key value propositions of your business model, the key value adding processes, and the whole competitive ecosystem. And also very important, never underestimate or overestimate the customer bargaining power. So whatever business you have, B2B or B2C, you always have a customer. But your biggest mistake is you overestimate the customer's bargaining power or you underestimate the customer's bargaining power. So what you give, the dish that you give to your customer must be based on a very accurate understanding of how strong your customer is. Customer is not king always. He may only be your slave if you are NVIDIA or you are ASML, your customers are your slaves. ASML has the almost near monopoly of those chip fabricating machines in the world. Of course, then how you develop how your strategy is different. On the other hand, if your bargaining power is very weak, it's different, okay? And one small comment, I think I'll end here. All strategies are often good. In business, I have hardly seen any bad strategies. But the strategies fail because of one of 4 reasons. And 4 is because Chinese 4 means death, right? So remember, 5 is for the good things, 4 is for the bad things. So too soon, too late. It's like curing a disease. Too fast, too slow. Too wide, too narrow. Too deep, too shallow. So it's not the idea itself, but like the execution, whether it's too early, too late, too fast, too slow, too wide, too narrow, too deep, too shallow. If you're helping your organization to formulate an effective AI strategy to transform and add value to the business, think of this aspect, okay? And try to improve focus. And also, if it's the challenge is too daunting, then just try to develop gradually. Because in AI, you can do that. I won't come to that. So I just want to thank you for your attention. And by the way, I learned something I want to share with you while researching this subject. You know, one of the seminal works behind the transformer model that's powering all the large language models is a paper written by an author called Vaswani, together with 10 other authors. And the title of the paper is All You Need Is Attention. Seriously, search this. All You Need Is Attention by Vas, V-A-S-W-A-N-I. You won't be, I think 90% of us won't be able to understand that paper, but the point is that the success of these large language models is based on the concept of attention. So I then realized that in life, that's why I try to get your attention also just now at the side, because in life, everything you do is about paying attention. So that was one thing I learned that was very helpful to me personally, to always, no matter where you are, what you do, pay a lot of attention, because even the highly successful LLM models are based on attention. Okay, thank you.